To start with introductions. So if you could please tell everyone who you are and what organization you represent, or why you're here, then we'll start on this end and maybe work our way around.
I'm Barb Van Isle and I'm representing the Chaska Historical Society.
And I'm also from the Historical Society, Doris Coghill. Who's serving?
Steve Ritz, Vice President on the Downtown Alliance and also founder of Fitness First and Chaska and Excelsior.
Dan Keyport, I own the Chaska Depot and I'm president of the Downtown Business Alliance.
Jen Angel, I am the administrator for the Downtown Business Alliance.
Melissa Carlson, the treasurer for the Downtown Business Alliance, and then I'm the manager for Nicolay Bank in Chaska and Chanhassen.
Erin Link with Chaska Parks and Recreation.
Tony Van Orden, Tanya Sloan, second.
Kelsey Myers, I manage the Old National.
Steve Curtis, President of the Southwest Metro Chamber of Commerce.
Michaela Hatfield, City Council and Liaison to the Downtown Business Alliance.
And Kevin Wright, Community Engagement Manager for the City of Chaska.
Wonderful. Thank you all for being here. Do we have a forum? We've got three.
And we have Kristen on Zoom. If you're welcome to introduce yourself, otherwise I just.
Hi, Kristen Hahn, the Operations Supervisor for the Chaska Library.
All right, wonderful. So do I have a motion to adopt the agenda and approve the minutes? Moved by Melissa and a second?
A second.
By Steve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And nay. Motion carries. Treasurer's report, Jen.
We'll talk more about the rest of the events that are coming up, but the change here, excuse me, was the event that we just did on Second Street, the little pop-up Oktoberfest, kind of in coordination with Guardian Angels, and I'm interested to hear the feedback you had on your event. This was a little bit less attended than I think we've seen in the past, and I think some of it could be coming off of a year of road construction and just getting people used to coming back down here and moving. That being said, we popped up in the parking lot, and first of all, excellent job in supporting that. Basically, your team did all the work there in making sure the parking lot was set and cleared, and it worked perfect. Carrie also kind of co-did this, and she worked with you all, brought the yes, the block party van down. And so the whole parking lot was just full of bounce houses, parking lot stuff, and people. So not a terrible turnout. I'd say we probably ended up with maybe 250 individuals that attended it. When we've done those before in City Square Park, they were probably closer to about 400 people. So I don't know if location could have been some of that, or if it's just getting people used to coming down. So we can cover it more later. But that was the spend. We had about $1,500 all in between the bounce houses and the music on that event. Didn't do as much marketing as we normally do. We had, usually I do about a $200 spend. We only did about $100, just because we had a shorter wind up to this one, and it didn't make sense to kind of pump a lot of social media dollars into it. So I do think going forward, it makes sense for us to do that event. I think a lot of what I'm trying to figure out now that we're not going to use the park for events is where do we pop things up that gives exposure to different businesses? And I think giving Second Street some exposure by doing something down there is good. And then like we're gonna look at Hometown Holiday and maybe the Paseo, giving Third Street some exposure. We did the tunnel opening and we got some up there on Fifth. So I think some of that placement, like when we talk about maybe a pickleball event, gives exposure to different parts of downtown. And I think that's probably a good strategic move for us.
And it came up at our last council meeting, but there is, I think with business support, the opportunity to close portions of Second Street. If you wanted to do a real, let's say, on Second there, Second East, and you wanted to close a portion of that or the whole block to do a 3-hour event, that's always still an option.
I think that's something that I'm thinking about with Third Street and Hometown Holiday. Like this is the first time we're going to try a really big event where we have a lot of different components. And like, does it make sense to try and use the Paseo, or should we close Third Street in front of Clearsoft and Von Hansen's? That's where the carriages, I don't know. That's one big discussion thing I think we need is, the other potential issue when we do these pop-ups in random places is explaining to people where it is. That was my fear with the parking lot, is it's somewhat hard to, Julie did a great image that we used in a lot of the marketing, but it's also hard to help people understand where things are when it's not in City Square Park, which everyone knows. So
Well, and I'm really excited about the opportunities that Paseo presents. But I think we're gonna just need to try things and see what
Yeah.
works. And I also think that we need to brand it in such a way that if we say Paseo, people know exactly where we're talking about and
Yes.
they've had some experience with that. So,
and I don't think people know what the Paseos are
no,
right
I don't
now.
think so.
And
So one point, so I think we talked about at this group going in and basically putting an application with the University of Minnesota for the Resilient Communities Program to do some work. How do we activate the Paseo? How do we market it? How
Yeah.
do we do all that? We thought we were gonna have a class this fall helping us. Unfortunately, that fell through. So as we've been talking, we feel it's super important to do that sooner rather than later. So we've reached out to Max Musicant. He's done some work here in downtown during COVID for us. He's well known throughout the metro area for placemaking and activation sorts of things. And so Julie's already reached out to him. We're working on getting a meeting set up and having him help us. So I hope that kind of was the answer to some of these questions we're
yeah.
having right now.
Good.
I think that's probably the best thing that we could do, because I don't have the answers. And I think getting in front of it, I ran into Nate at a birthday party this weekend and I was like, hey, we need to start to communicate that we're not using the park and the why behind that, because it's gonna feel like it's doing a disservice when it's
Yeah.
not. It's the right decision and we have other areas that we can activate.
And I think Max can help us. with
Does the
some of this.
Downtown Business Alliance, the SSD, need to participate in that?
Not sure yet.
Okay,
I think it would be great.
we want to
have
support it, I
participation.
think.
Yeah.
But what that support looks like beyond just
I think-
involvement, we're open. I
Yeah,
think.
no, I
So,
think, definitely, support and involvement, working with Max.
Yeah.
Coming, that sort of thing. We're just kind of feeling it out. Again, this was just something, I think Nate's conversation with you prompted it, this RCP thing falling through. It's really made us think, okay, we need to do something now.
Yeah.
And so, I would guess here before the end of the month, we'll meet with him and we'll be in touch. But yes, because I think it can't be only the city that owns it. It has to be the
Right,
businesses that
right.
are owning it. So, it would be super important for that involvement piece.
and I'll add, Michaela, you might have been gonna mention this too, but at the city council meeting, when we presented the SSD, we had two presenters that talked about River City Days leaving the park and how that was bad for downtown. So we need to address this. So,
I agree with you that the why to why we cannot use the park has not been very visible. And we don't have a paper anymore, so I don't know how you're gonna get through it, but the questions have been asked and we don't have an answer for it. When
Right
they
here.
ask us at the history center, they don't have an answer for it.
Yeah, I think,
I've just heard rumors, to be honest, as somebody that, because everyone comes to the bank and then every story is a little bit different, so.
I think we didn't have a lot of clarity on that. I mean, we just had our plans approved with the different agencies that needed to approve them last month.
Just in the past.
This
week
month?
or two.
Yeah, so I think there hasn't been a lot of clarity on what those groups were even gonna approve for us to put any message out. And the last thing we wanna do is put out a message that we have to walk back. So that's been a lot of it, is that there are agencies we had no control over that we were waiting an answer on. And so
Well, that
that is
would have
hard,
been
but I
easy.
agree.
That would have been
like,
easy to
it's
say,
helpful.
right? That would have been easy to say, hey, there's powers that are outside our control and this is what we're waiting on,
Yeah, and I guess staff doesn't have to say this, but those are sensitive agencies. So it's a sensitive topic to just be running your mouth about at some extent. So I think it was just a thing we wanted to be careful about and
But it's
make
fact,
sure
right?
we were,
It's fact, so it's
Yeah.
not running your mouth. It's
yeah,
like,
and I think we
you know,
were saying that, but
yeah.
to put a wide message out without having something concrete is a dicey game, in my opinion.
It's a
I
good
think we're
opinion.
to that point.
Yes, yeah.
We need to start communicating the why so that people understand that. I mean, Matt just shared a few days ago that like those agencies, I think did approve still lighting the gazebo so that it does still feel like a place that you could come and do things, but like, we're not going to stake Christmas ornaments into the ground there because that's not the right thing to do. And the good side of that, the flip side is all of that is moving to Fireman's Park. And I think what you'll see get crafted over there is kind of that,
Bigger and more.
what Duluth does.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
Bentleyville.
yes,
Yeah.
like it's Chaska's little growing Bentleyville, and that'll be a fun experience. And
Seaportville.
what we've talked about, what we've talked about before is how we take the stuff that's happening at Fireman's Park now and translate that into getting people across the street and
Yeah.
exploring downtown.
And I think that's where Max can help us too.
Yeah.
Perfect. Wonderful, wonderful.
That was,
Could we go to our schools like Chaska, like we have the Southwest Metro School, we have Integrated Arts Academy to see if we can get our local students engaged. I mean, if the U of M doesn't have a class, I mean, we have so many talented students here in our community. I don't know why we keep going out, but like we should look in and say, hey, what can the schools do? And if anybody wants to do something.
Is the U of M idea completely
No,
done? or-
it's not completely done. We thought we had a professor that was willing to work with us. Things kind of changed at the very last minute going into the semester, so it's not off the table yet. I mean, but that's why we feel it's important to get Max in here to do the work now. And then I think the U can maybe
supplement.
do a layer on top of that, give us.
So they still offer the class and
They, yeah, it's an interesting kind of way. They have one coordinator who helps find us classes that are being offered and professors who are willing to have their students engage. So, he'll be looking at spring semester classes and what's available.
Okay, anything else on the budget? So
that was the budget.
Wandered off a little bit
Yes,
there,
we
but
did,
that's,
but
that's
I-
important stuff to cover,
yes.
so.
We'll cover when we get to kind of the event plan, the forecasted spending. I have some of the bags and the ornaments, some of those things we're thinking about as we come into the holidays. So I think there's no change in the CDBA as we would expect.
Okay. I need a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
Oh, we do have enough now.
Oh.
Although,
Oh, yes, yes, Carrie, yes.
I motion we approve the.
All right, thank you, Carrie. And second?
I'll second that.
All right. I think we need a board member to second it. So that's all right.
that's okay.
Yeah,
I'll second it.
okay, and Steve is second. So all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
The piece that I should have added to that is the balance that you see right now is without the Q4 payment. We'll deposit that because we just requested that. So
Okay.
I should have added this and I got off on my tangent. We are tracking exactly where we should be at this point. So what we'll address today is the spend for Q4 for the events and the ornaments and those things. And yeah, that's the end of that.
Great. Okay, moving on, current business, road construction, any updates on that?
Not really, maybe kind of related to that, the banners, the council had the opportunity to see the banners
Okay.
on Monday night. So they're making some final edits and plan to order the banners in the next few weeks and hope to have them up sometime in November, maybe, so before the holidays. Wayfinding, the parking directional signs, poles have been ordered.
Yay.
And once we get the materials received, we'll get them up. I don't have a timeline as to how long that will take. And then the heritage kiosk are in final design stages, so what's back up there is just some work that Kevin has been doing with Liz and Ashley in our office, with the center. And they're in the final design stages before that shortly. So while it's not directly road construction, it's related.
Well, and also related is the trail along Chaska Boulevard, they're making hay.
there.
Do you have an end date on that or?
It's likely that some of the landscaping and stuff will have to go into next year.
Okay.
How long the fall holds will be how far we get in getting that.
Okay,
construction.
because as far as, it looks like they've got to that little railroad bridge and
Yeah.
are rebuilding it.
Yes, that is the
And
big,
then from there to the people is not done yet. And then
and then going.
the
west.
other side, the west side, I haven't seen much.
Yeah, so I don't know if they'll make it to the west side. It's just the weather. How long will the weather?
That's
allow
been
for?
as good as it can be,
Mhm.
so. All right. Okay, well then let's go right to city updates. Anything besides road construction? So
Okay, let's start.
Michaela,
I have a feeling
all right.
I think really the only thing I have is that at the Monday council meeting last week, we did approve the SSD. And we had our public hearing, a couple business owners showed up for that, and really talked about, as Dan mentioned, the park. And just, I think it was a good conversation. And the council is always, of course, very supportive, had a lot of conversation about, all the work that you guys do and just really proud of our businesses downtown. So that was approved. And Dan, of course, spoke and did a great job. So yeah, I think there was a question I saw about the budget and why it hadn't changed since 2020. So I got that on social media and did answer that you guys, felt that you had the means to keep doing with what you had and do a great job with it. So that was one question that had come up. And then.
I add to that,
Yeah.
that question really was a recommendation in disguise for a change in focus to increase our efforts in business recruitment and retention. So again, that's feedback we should take to heart as well, so.
And I think, our view of the budget has been to try to do more with the same. I think we're getting to the point, and we can talk about this, because I've got pricing for like some of the stuff that we've bought over the years, and we are definitely seeing things get more expensive, which means not only do we need to think, how do we drive recruitment and retention better, if that's a focus that has always been
Yeah.
a part of what, but we're also starting to see things get more expensive. Like kids dance is more expensive than it used to be. The bounce houses are more expensive than they used to be. So we might have to just start to think about, if we're going to continue to do the same level of events and they're costing us more, then we're taking away from something else potentially.
We're in a fortunate position of also looking at expanding the district, which should increase our base. So we could increase our spending on that sort of thing, without really having anybody experience a dollar increase in their assessment, so
And that did
potentially.
come up as well, so the council was aware of that. And,
Yeah.
I think had good questions about it and are excited to see the boundaries grow. And of course, if that's what you guys want to do and the businesses are interested, I think that's fantastic. So that part came up as well.
But yeah, I think we've always tried to be very mindful in maximizing what we're doing with it and not going after more money from the businesses. And maybe if we are engaging Max, I know when we've talked about retention and recruitment before, a lot of what came out of that was the hotel study that we did, some of those other things in understanding what we could add to downtown to continue to draw people in. It might be worth a conversation with him as we kind of circle back with this being a focus on as to where should we put our attention on that? Because I don't know that I have the answer when it comes to recruitment. I've had some good conversations like with Andy about things that he's thinking of, but that all takes time and money to build new businesses here and to draw them in. So.
And I think you have, with Julie joining us in the past year, you have a staff member who's dedicated to doing economic development. And so she has that background and knowledge to be able to step in and help work with the businesses, and figure out what's the right thing.
Yeah, we should really leverage that connection to
Yeah.
help us understand what we need to be doing there. A question relating to that, we have on our website, or had, I haven't looked at it in a long time, available real estate page. Is that up to date? Do you have any idea?
So that's been, I think, one of our biggest struggles, right? Is knowing what's available. And then when something happens, a lot of it is word of mouth.
Yeah.
Like we've found
Some-
out about the dog groomer coming in because we all
At a
saw
meeting
it.
like this, yeah.
Yes. So that's another, I think, opportunity for us is to continue to keep that relevant.
Yeah.
I think we're trying to figure that out as well, because sometimes we hear they come in for a permit.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
"Wait,
It's like, did you know about this?
Yeah,
So
they're well down the road
we're
before you
trying to,
hear about
like,
it, yeah.
We're trying to figure that out too. so.
I think you can even, spend on contacting the building owners. I mean, that's information you have at your fingertips to say, hey, when you have an opening, we want to help you promote that. And how we do that, is different every time, but I think you could reach out. I also personally try and go when there's a new business and A, spend some money with them, B, tell them about you guys. So I think that's a good thing too. Just like Hayloft Studios opened the last couple months and had a great conversation with her and she's like, I need to get connected to that group. So, which reminds me, if you don't have her email, I'll give it to you. Okay.
I do, so part of, there was some feedback from John at the meeting that he wasn't getting our emails. He's on our email list. So one of the things that I think now needs to be a project is our email is hosted through GoDaddy, through Microsoft 365. No offense to the Microsoft users, but it's probably not the best email hosting. And I think we get spammed. Our email gets dumped into spam more often than it probably should. I'm sure that's what's happening with John. So I think we need to explore moving off of that and getting a more current hosting site to maybe reduce some of that so that we are getting communications through. But as a part of that project, I synced with Julie to get all of her emails that she's got, just so we make sure that everybody's in our database and we're getting content out there as much as we can.
Do you guys have an email that's something at downtownchaska.com?
info@downtown.
It is, okay, because I think your emails always come from the Gmail one.
Yeah, because that's part of what we did when this came up like 2 years ago, was we forward the Microsoft 365 to the Gmail, hoping that that would help get things out better. And I don't think it's working as good as we hope it
How
does.
many people are on your email list?
So we have, I think, about 75 business emails, so not a huge amount, but I've got Julie's list now, which has some of the building owners, and I think I probably won't send them everything that I send out, but I do think there's probably relevant information for them, maybe on a quarterly basis. And that's a group that we hadn't communicated with before. And I think that might be a good thing going forward too, just so they understand what we're working on.
Well, to be honest, everyone's.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of ISPs have a cap on the number of emails you can send out a day. And that might be a problem because then some of them go into spam and you just might want to look at a different email provider.
Yeah, I think that's
You
probably,
don't have to change any of the app, whatever. You just need somebody else to send them out.
yeah, I think that's probably our root cause. Well, we've been all over the place this morning. Any
But
other
that was my city updates. So.
I've got notes from Monday night. Let me just make sure.
Question. I don't think you should be limiting the information you're sending to the building owners. We're paying the taxes for the SSD. We should be informed just as much as the businesses. So.
That's good feedback then. Okay.
And honestly, I get like one email from you a month.
Yeah,
Our home email gets none, so maybe it's going into the spam.
it's probably going into the spam. Yeah, because we worked with that with your issue too. Yeah, we typically during event season that they'll come out about every other week, but I try not to inundate the businesses with a bunch of emails because there's a whole lot going on. But I will say when we do have events, the response is good. I mean, we have I think we're at 15 plus businesses right now that are doing trick or treating. And we've hovered somewhere between 15 and 20. Could it be more? It could be. I'd like to see some of the ones that don't participate, like Von Hanson's was one that I did another push to some that hadn't responded that I felt like that's an easy thing for you to be a part of. Some of the stuff, it doesn't make sense, but like trick or treat is just a bowl of candy.
Give it pork chop.
You could. get pork chop. So I went back to a couple businesses that I was hoping to hear from yesterday as we're finalizing the map. But we've got we get good feedback. And they did, one of the questions I asked them was, if Steve and the ornament, that came up last year because we didn't do a downtown Chaska ornament for the holidays. And there was some feedback that like that was a fun thing and the businesses liked it. So I asked them, what else would you like to give away? What else would like engage your customers? And the bags came up. So we'll talk more about this, but I think we're gonna do the ornament, the bags, and stickers are a really big thing. People put them on their, I don't have my water bottle with me, but they put them everywhere, laptops.
Those ornaments are really strangely popular by me. Like we bought the old ones that were left over and they were gone within like 2 years and there was a lot of them.
Yes.
So I was amazed how popular. it
Yeah.
was. Granted, we gave them away for free, but.
You did.
$3.99.
Well, they were
Charged
like
$2
from
at the
the
time, like
80s.
that.
Oh,
They
sure.
were
Yeah.
they were kind of ran.
Yeah,
They're
we had
retro.
our leftover ones when we decided to
More than-
stop selling.
Mine said, I bought a lot
Yeah.
of them.
You got it.
No.
Yeah, they're gone now. We thought, oh, we're gonna have these forever. And then we were like, oh, I needed that for my collection. I'm like, perfect.
But yeah, I think we'll talk more about the support for small business Saturday through Hometown Holiday. But I think we had some good feedback on bags as being a winner, the ornament for sure. And then I think stickers are a very low cost way for us to give every business something to hand out to people that has our information on it.
So Caleb, we kind of wandered off in the
Yeah,
middle of your
again.
city updates again.
No, that's okay. That was the end of my city update, so at least.
The only other thing I have is, we've been talking to some of the business and property owners on Second Street about 2-hour parking. And I think we came to a good resolution on that a few weeks ago, and we're gonna be putting up some signs, regarding 2-hour parking. Pulling from ordering those materials now, and we'll be making the signs. And by the end of November is kind of what it looks like. And Julie will be sending a mailing out to all the business and property owners on Second Street.
Got a 2-hour parking within a certain window?
Yes.
Is it every spot gonna be signed?
No, I was.
Thank goodness. Really ugly,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah, and there was just some other concerns, but no, between Brian is our public works director, between Brian and Julie, we kind of went out there and slipped out the best places.
Has it been an issue? Somebody's just sitting there parking for days and days or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
I think it, did it end up being kind of a unanimous vote by the businesses? I know it wasn't a vote.
It wasn't a vote, but I would say 90% said, yes, we'd like to see this.
Because I know it's been years in the making, and I'm glad that we're able to support that.
That's all I have.
Any updates on Coopers? Still nothing?
Recent updates.
Okay, thank you.
And do you know how that condo office warehouse is filling in?
That's a great question. I haven't checked in with them lately.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'll find out.
I saw a salt company.
Yeah, I think
kind
there's
of in
been a
there,
few
but-
folks that have gone in there. I
Okay.
know they opened later than they wanted to.
Yeah.
But I'll get that for next.
Where's
that?
The old
Mm-hmm.
DDK
Yeah.
construction.
Oh, my cousins.
Yeah, next to Formicote.
I'm excited to see some local Chaska businesses go right in, like.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just looks nice down there.
It does, yeah, yeah. Well, and the idea of that was jobs, to have people downtown, so.
They're the best. He's fantastic.
Oh,
Good to know.
I'm pretty sure I
Get them
let
to come to
us.
this meeting.
Is that
How are they
for the
looking?
district that, does it go that far?
They're not,
They're not, but
but
they could be, yeah.
because so to bring everybody kind of up to speed, this idea of expanding the district came from Cuzzy's asking to be a part of the district. And then we started talking about, well, we've wanted to include Shram before, like, should we expand the boundaries? And then, as Julie and I started to have conversations, there were other people down on that side that were interested in being a part of it. So what we have decided to do so that because it's a long process, similar to getting the budget approved. So instead of like trying to shove this all in before this budget, we're going to invite all of those businesses that are interested to one of these meetings, probably the February meeting, as kind of an open forum where they can come and hear about things. And then they have to opt in, and then we can start the legal process. But the reason we kind of paused it is because we want to make sure we get everyone who wants to be a part of the district into the district so that, yeah. So that's how that started, and we'll wrap it up in probably Q1, Q2 of next year as we prep for the 2026 budget. That sounds weird to say. Because it's October.
And I think it's good for us too to have members like Cousins and Shram, because they bring some, event support, if you will, and enable us to keep it local. So.
Maybe a old question, but does anyone have any information on the PFC?
Oh,
We've been in conversations with the property owner, just talking about what his intentions are and what he's doing with the property. We're working with him to try and fix the property right now. That's about kind of where we're at. So we've made some headway that we are at least have made contact with them.
They have worked on cleaning it up. They do have, he's committed to making sure no semis are parking there. So there's some signage that went in, and so there's active steps towards a better situation.
Property maybe doesn't look condemned.
Yes. I mean, it still looks a little condemned, but they're making clear
a
steps
little.
forward.
I mean, is it a usable property? I mean, can you even open it? Would it be, the city inspected it?
The city inspector has gone out there and taken a look at stuff, and so he's made certain kind of, I wanna see X, Y, and Z before I would allow you to use this building again. Or you need somebody to tell me this building is okay. And so, there's some work that has to be done first to even define if that building is usable or not.
Right.
So,
Okay, just that the city is maybe holding the owner accountable.
yes, oh yeah, yeah, they have to, if they were gonna open anything there, I mean, it's gotta go through our building inspections to permit, there's a lot of work. So, he's been out there and taken a look at it.
Well, not only just opening it, but to your point about being held accountable, so that thing doesn't sit there and rot and, like it has for the last, 10 years?
Yeah, so it came up, I mean, we met with him about a month ago, it came up in conversation earlier this week, and so we're doing some. So.
It's nice, all the updates are so pretty, but then there's still the existing problems. Same with like my building. We're the only street that didn't get done in the renovation project, which I get why, because the rumors of tearing us down have been there forever. But now like the city was wonderful, like I've been working with the city and the post office, because it's a hazard at this point. So we're gonna pay and do it and get it all done. But the sidewalk is dangerous, the street is bad. It's just kind of obvious, like every other street, so.
Yeah, no, I just
Making sure we're.
I'll follow up with our engineer, public works, and is there some temporary solutions, so we.
On a related note, any updates with the hotel?
No, not
Okay.
recently.
We going into Tommy's yet? Plan for that?
We haven't heard.
I heard the coffee shop or something, but I don't know if that's gonna actually come to.
I think that some folks have been looking, but nothing that.
Okay, well, let's move on then to chamber updates.
Yeah, it's just had 1 year on Wednesday in the seat, so thank you all for all your support. It's been awesome. We have 72 members so far this year. Goal is to get to 400 by the end of the year. Not 400 new, that would be a record, just 400 total. But we're just excited for the partnerships that we have, and had a great meeting with Marshall at Parks and Rec, and getting some things going over there. We have Wellness Expo working on that. We had 70 people with a little 3-chamber event, which was fun because there's been some barriers and people are worried about competition, and we're trying to support all of our local chambers. We had 70 people at Tram last night and 100 and some at Purse Bingo and as well. So it was a fun day yesterday. But our gala is coming up as well as the mayor's luncheon in November. So those are the two things we're kind of focused on there. And dinner theater event Tuesday. If anybody wants to go, let me know. I got a screaming deal on left there. But other than that, no, just, I don't know, it's been a good year.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Park and Rec, Eric?
Well, it's good to be back. This busy end of summer and beginning of fall with just a lot of big events within about a 5-week span. So it feels kind of nice to just a little time to breathe. But so yeah, between August and mid-September, we had our Art in a Park event, park event, a back to school event bash in Carver, our Latin Music and Food Festival, and then our Chaska Cares Music Festival, partnership with the Rotary. So busy stuff, but all good. The Chaska Cares event, which was Friday, September 20th, like I mentioned, is a partnership with the Chaska Rotary Club, is a fundraising event to raise funds for our Miracle League Field and the Universal Design Playground at the new upcoming community park in Southwest Chaska. So we're meeting next week to kind of really wrap up the financial pieces of it to see, hopefully we made money. I think we did, but exact amount I'm not sure of yet. So and that event was at Fireman's Park this year. Last year was at Athletic Park. But obviously with flooding and just some natural challenges with athletic, we did move it to Fireman's this year. So our Latin Music and Food Festival was a ton of fun as well. We partner with a lot of different organizations for that, but Latino Voices and Mikasa are two of the big groups that we work with for that event. And right now, actually at the community center in our gallery, we have an Ofrenda display that Latino Voices put up on Sunday. So that'll be up in our gallery through, I believe, beginning to middle of November. So come check it out. I know there might be another one that goes along with the Katrina event or parade that Kevin's been involved with, but they have put that up in the gallery at the community center the last few years, and it's really great. It's got a lot of great like educational pieces to it as well, so people can really learn what that means, a little bit more about that celebration. So along lines with the community center, we were closed for a week in August for a lot of just annual maintenance, pool and refinishing gym floors. We have we got new strength equipment in our fitness area, new flooring in our fitness area, just a ton of like it was kind of fun to kind of open up after that and welcome people back in with some upgrades and a real fresh, clean building as well. So we are planning for winter programs. You know, Jen mentioned 2026, it's not too far away, but so we are planning for our winter programs and events, which will be kind of those January through March, April. So that's kind of happening now. Our winter activity guide will be out early December. So thinking ahead there. We have a new after school program at the community center. I don't know if people are aware that if you don't have young kids, you might not be, but the club care programs through the school district have just been really full. And people have been on wait lists, and there's just been a little bit more of a need there for after school programming. So we did this school year start a new after school program. So we have kids coming, majority of the kids, we have 30 kids coming every day after school. Majority of them are coming from Clover Ridge Elementary and Carver Elementary, but we do have just a few coming from, I think, Academia and World Learner School, I believe. But the district agreed to bus
kids to the community center as long as those were the schools that we were in that busing route. So that's been going really well and I think helped some families with the after-school care. Let's see, more on a park-related things. We have at Lions Park, there's a new playground that I think is maybe almost done and in. I drove by, I saw it, but I don't know if it's completely finished, but on the other side of the park, where there's new pickleball courts that are being added or extra. So there's been 6 pickleball courts at Lions Park, kind of off the back of the softball fields. And there were 2 sand volleyball courts that just really weren't getting used. And so our public works team and others have been working really hard to add 5 more. So there will be 11 outdoor courts. I don't know exact timing on when, but I think they're planning to have things kind of pretty much done this fall. There'll be a little more follow-up work in the spring, but those 6 courts that have been there have been able to, for the most part, be used yet this fall, which is nice with all of the nice weather. Maybe impacted a couple days here and there, but so that'll be great. That's still just a very much a popular and growing sport. So, and then I mentioned the Chaska Cares Music Fest being a fundraising event for some amenities that are new Southwest Community Park. And so our Park and Rec department, or the city has just entered into, or in the midst of entering into an agreement with an architect firm to go through a process over the next year to kind of create a master plan for that park. So it's about 57 acres. And we know that we're going to have a Miracle League field and we'll have a universal design playground. But outside of that, you know, what does that park look like and what does it include? And what are those things that the community wants to see as one of the last kind of big community park that Chaska will be able to create. So it'll be a fun process this year. There'll be a lot of community engagement with, you know, our Parks Commission, City Council, focus groups like our athletic associations, and there'll be a lot of people who have strong opinions on what they want to see in that park. But we'll work to kind of create something that speaks to what the majority of the community is kind of looking for.
Soccer fields, football fields, all that, right? Multi-sport fields?
Yeah, all options for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Aaron, where is that located? Or will it?
So Big Woods Boulevard area, I'm really bad with.
212 and 44. It's just right up.
Yeah.
Just like it's
Yeah.
a, yeah, it's a
Right
nice
across from the
location for
Harvest.
downtown.
Right across from the Harvest neighborhood.
There's the roundabout, that one side has a sign.
Yeah, I just never drive that way, so I have a hard time.
I know, same.
Get my arms around that one, but
Sneaky way.
Yeah.
It's yes, it's a
Okay.
nice drive.
Ah.
Very easy access in the downtown.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. It's
That's
gonna be very exciting.
That's all
When
I
that
know.
park goes in, I imagine that when people are there for whatever they're doing, baseball, whatever, that it's gonna be easy to go downtown and do things, grab lunch, whatever it may be. Moms that don't wanna have to sit and watch that sounds bad, but they wanna take a break.
They gotta go
I go
drink.
shopping, I don't
Drop
know.
them off. Yeah.
Have a
There-
beer.
let's say wives that don't wanna watch their husband's mountain bike or something, let's go that
Yeah.
direction. They can go shop downtown, so that's gonna be really exciting when that all gets finished
Yeah.
in Southwest Chaska.
And there has been, it's at that same site, the school district owns some land for a future elementary school. So that's kind of a piece to the project I think there'll be conversations with the school on, you know, if they do see that really coming to fruition in the future or not. But yeah, it'll be exciting to kind of dream big with that part. I think that's all.
Erin, do you wanna talk about, well, I don't know, maybe you wanna talk about the Katarina parade, that's gonna be, I mean, it's not outside, but it's downtown.
Yeah, I can talk about that. Yeah, so the Katrina Parade is gonna be part of a Dia de los Muertos celebration. So in Mexican culture, that's kind of, they don't celebrate Halloween, they celebrate Dia de los Muertos, and it's kind of that weekend of November 1st through November 2nd or 3rd, I think. It's either a 2 or 3 day celebration, but as a part of that, we're partnering with Latino Voices to hold a Katrina Parade over at Fireman's Park and the Event Center on November 1st. So from 5 to 9, there'll be an event over at the Event Center. It'll start with, if you go on Facebook and just look up Katrina Parade, you'll see kind of what that is, but everyone dresses up in kind of ornate costumes, and they do like face painting with kind of like, skulls and different kinds of things, very, very ornate. And so then there's usually a parade that's associated with that. So we'll have people meet at the event center or at Fireman's Park, and then go over to Veterans Park and then walk across the bridge as the parade. So there'll be music that goes with that. And then there'll be a whole event in the event center with the DJ. There's potentially a band. There'll be a presentation on kind of what Dia de los Muertos is. There'll be another ofrenda that they'll set up there. We'll have kind of activities and games for kids. And then there'll be some food trucks, so Janie's Tacos will be there for sure. And then, yeah, so just kind of a night of both education and then also I think a chance to have fun. There'll be vendors, so selling kind of shirts, or like Mexican candies, and a few other things too. So there'll be kind of a good flavor of everything. So it's I'll pass the flyer on to Jen to include in the recap email.
And since you said Janie's Tacos, I feel like we should really mention that on October 18th, there's lunchbox tacos with the Chaska Police Department at Janie's Tacos in the Old Cooper's parking lot. And so that's a fun little truck that lives here in our downtown. And I think she's always there.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's always in the Cooper's parking lot. And so the first 70 people get a free taco from there. So I imagine there'll be some good people come downtown that Friday. The 18th, October 18th.
What time, Michaela, do you know?
Let's see. Yes, at noon to 2, yes.
Really, we talked about this last meeting that, our budget doesn't allow us to do events every weekend.
Next Friday.
Really even every month. And the idea that that there's always something that someone is doing on these weekends that we can push out there that gets people down here. I mean, that is a lot of what I think we try to do, is to educate people on coming down here for the events and moving around downtown. So it's cool that there's some new things happening that hopefully will engage people who haven't maybe come down for an event before, or don't spend a lot of time downtown.
And I should just mention real quick with upcoming, the tree lighting event, that'll be at Fireman's on Sunday, December 8th. I know we talked a little bit about how could we maybe with the hometown holiday and tree lighting, like kind of partner together. And I think it makes sense this year to kind of do things a little bit separately, but it could be something where in the future, there's this Paseo area or closing down a street or whatever it is, and there's activities there. And then we can get people just to walk to Fireman's for the tree lighting. There is a way to still kind of merge those together a little bit in there.
Yeah, I think that would be interesting, because that's one of the things that we try to do, is get people from Fireman's over. And so maybe the way is to activate it. Like, we know the carriage rides are a huge draw, so much so that we're gonna have 3. And we actually expanded the time of hometown holidays so that we could get more people on the carriage rides, because it's such a draw. But that idea that we could activate over here and then push people that way, like, the more we teach them that it is incredibly walkable down here, and there are a ton of businesses, and it's easy to access and enjoy. I mean, it's an education process, and there's a lot of new, you would know the number better than I have, but there's so many new residents that may not be as familiar as the rest of us with what's down here.
Wonderful. Okay, let's move on to Historical Society updates.
Well, the main thing that we're doing last weekend and the next 2 weekends are our hauntings tours. And we still have openings if anybody wants to come and learn a little history and about some spirits that are hanging around town. And then for the hometown holidays, we'll be open that day. And we are partnering with the debate team at the high school to be the leaders for on the wagons. to tell a little bit about the history. And we're also participating in the trick or treat.
Also the Deer Weekend
yeah.
on November 9th, where we are normally open on Saturday afternoons anyway. But we've gotten our name on your list, or we'll be on the map for that. And then you can register if you're interested in the hauntings and histories on our website. That's how and that goes through the community center. So we appreciate their help with that. But we still have our hours, day afternoons, Friday afternoons, and Saturday afternoons from 1 to 4.
Your weekend sounds like a good weekend to pick up some brick chocolates.
Yeah, I just made it in batch yesterday, yeah, they will be there.
Need like chocolate.
What are the new flavors or?
Same flavors.
Okay, what flavors do you have again?
Peanut butter, salted caramel, peppermint, vanilla.
They're only $5.
In the shape of it.
You can't beat that.
Favorite shape of a Chaska Brex.
That's so cool.
The same size as a Chaska brick too.
I was like,
I do want to add, though, that we were the benefactors of 37 Chaska bricks that were found in Brett and Jamie's backyard, Nelson's backyard. And they brought them and donated them to us. So we do have another supply of Chaska,
Yeah,
the original Chaska.
they were digging up something in their backyard and found the bricks buried in the backyard.
Wow.
Some kind of a foundation for something that they had no idea what was there.
So we increased our stock. Compliments of them.
Nice. Thank you for the update. Do we have anybody from the library?
Yeah, I think Kristen is still on.
Oh, okay.
Hi, unfortunately, I'm a last minute sub. So I think the biggest thing we have going on right now is our Teentober. So we really focus on teens, and we have a bookmark contest, and we also offer money off on if they have any fines, up to $10. So that's kind of exciting for us. And that's across the whole system, just not Chaska. And then when December rolls around, we'll begin our winter reads for adults, which again, it's all about reading and offering up reviews and then offering some prizes. Now for the library system, we cannot pay for prizes. So all the prizes we give out come from either a friends group, a foundation, or a MELSA organization. So, but we do try to offer small incentives when we do things. So that's about it for now.
And the Historical Society has been partnering with the library and doing kids Lego events.
Oh, that's right.
So we give the kids like pictures of the old houses in town and they create them in Legos.
That's awesome.
Or the last time it was transportation, and so there's boats and
Steamboats
and stuff like that.
They're tasked with creating these with Legos that the library supplies. And then we're gonna we have a huge map of the old downtown area that we will be taking pictures of their creations and putting on this map for display at the library. So.
Do they do that at the library then?
No, they're doing it at the History Center. We have more room.
Right.
And the library is a stop on the trick or treat.
Is there anybody on the trick or treat our side? I mean, there was only us last year.
No, there is no one over there.
Okay, which is why
What
we're
time is it?
2 to 5. So that's the time we've always done it. St. John's extended their trunk or treat to match our hours.
Nice.
So that way it's very cohesive.
Is Auburn Manor participating still this year?
So I have not heard from them.
Oh.
They were, when I said I went back and sent another email to a select group of people, they were part of that email.
You connected with the new owners?
Money.
Ooh, I wonder if I have a bad email.
Somewhere I have their business card.
Is this Jen?
Auburn Manor.
I met one of their people.
Yeah, last year they were part of the map and you could go in and trick or treat with the residents and it was
They're my
a
favorite.
lot of fun.
Oh,
They love They
It was-
love seeing the kids.
Oh, yeah,
It was,
yeah.
yeah. Let's see, I'm gonna share my screen real quick. Maybe.
What were the hours? You said the old hours were 2 to 5. What are the new ones?
So we've always done 2 to 5. St. John's used to just do 3 to 5 and they extended 2 to 5.
Oh,
All right, I'm gonna attempt to share this. So you can see kind of our billboard at the community center. Not a billboard, it's a,
Dasher board.
there you go. See, I don't have hockey kids.
Mhm.
I know nothing about hockey. I don't think I can I zoom in? Oh, look at
Look at
me
you learning
on Zoom.
technology.
So, it's got our website, and then we built a very specific page that we're gonna populate with as much up-to-date event information as we can. So one of the things that we did 2 years ago is we added a plugin to the website that allowed us to tap into businesses' calendars and pull their events into our website. So that was one thing I went back to the businesses this week and said, like, if you've got a calendar, send me your link and let me see if we can continue to do that. I think we have about 5 businesses calendars that drop in there right now. Not everybody has a calendar. I was just talking with the Legion yesterday, and that's a project that they're working on doing. So then we can, because they have so many events. In fact, November 9th for Deer Weekend, they have Kids Bingo, which I'm excited about.
Well, that's plan in progress, yeah.
Yes, so that'll be good because like the more, anyway, that's a big focus for us is to get the business events onto our website so that there's more exposure for them. So that visit page will be one of the ways that we do that. The other thing with the QR code, so people can obviously go directly to that visit page, or the QR code will take them there, and we can track all of the hits that come there so we can start to understand the ROI on this spend. So if you remember, we did the 3 years, it's $1,000 a year, payable each year, so we don't have to lay out $3,000 right now. So then we can start to understand, like, how does that compare to some of the other ways that we spend money? The only other way that we really have visibility into advertising spend and what we're getting back on it is via social media. There's good analytics there, so we can start to vet, like when we spend $100 to boost an event and we get that many hits on our site, how does that compare to the people coming off of this spend? But it's, I mean, we talked about this when we approved the spend, that it used to cost us $1,500 to send our flyer out in the Herald to hit 6,000 homes, a 1-page flyer. So this spend gives us 12 months of visibility. So it was very similar to that one-time spend that we were doing when we did the 1-pagers.
On the visit page, is it gonna be like, in addition to the events, like eat, shop? So that they can like directly link, not just to events, but like,
Yes.
you're right now at a hockey game and you wanna eat right after.
It's got the map of
Nice,
downtown with
okay.
all of the business listings, and then it's got the event tied in, and then we also have a plugin that allows people, that anybody that uses the hashtag downtown Chaska, it feeds those pictures in there. So that'll be another social media push for us, is to get people to tag businesses especially, but also people to tag it, because then it gives you a nice view of everything that's happening down here.
Really good, because there's a lot of people at the rink, like,
Yeah.
As a hockey game, or if you get, or if you're at a tournament and you're like, well, now what do we do for 3 hours in between games? So.
It'll be, I think I'm really glad that we are trying something different, because I think we'll get a lot of learnings off of this and hopefully a little bit of traffic down here.
I have a question. Is there, this last summer from the golf tournament that we had for the amateurs, we actually had a mother that came down and wanted to know what to do while they were visiting here in Chaska between when their son was golfing. Is there any opportunity to do something like that when we have events like golf tournaments? Also at Hazeltine or the town course?
You know, that's a really good question, and we didn't do anything for that tournament, because our experience with the Ryder Cup was that we couldn't engage
Right.
with anything up there. But I think that's probably a good takeaway, these smaller tournaments that come in, if there's an opportunity for us to bag stuff or like maps, all of that piece.
And something like that that says, instead of get to know downtown Chaska, to your point, what is there, what can we do in downtown Chaska?
Yep.
You know, where to eat in downtown Chaska, you know, that kind of thing, where people
Yeah.
can,
Absolutely, yes.
that to me, like, what can I do in downtown Chaska is more of a draw than get to know, because I'm like, if I go to somebody's town, I'm not necessarily, but I'd love to know where to eat and,
Yep.
you know, where to spend my time, so.
You
I
want
We could get a,
don't want to get to know the town, I just want
you
to.
know.
So I just, the kids and I had gone up there to eat when they had closed down to kind of get to prep for it, and I didn't realize it. And there was a lot of signage along, I'm talking the town course, not Hazeltine.
Yeah.
I can't afford to eat at Hazeltine. Oak 19 though, good chicken. I wonder if there's opportunities to, billboard or
Little
stake,
signs.
like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Maybe postcards or
I
something.
think that's a,
I think like the main focus was always how to engage that, those younger families. That's the growing.
Yep.
You know, so getting them downtown or getting attention downtown, and so like as a young family and having kids, like a lot of our draws, like what are we gonna do? Like we end up at a park. So the fact that like Fireman's Park is so beautiful, like that's wonderful. This way it's like a new park. So there are a lot of parks in Chaska, thankfully, so, but there are a lot of them that are aging, so I think like seeing Lions Park updated is wonderful. Some of the other ones in downtown Chaska are getting pretty bad. That's just on the radar.
Yeah, I don't know much about it. I do know there's, you know, kind of a list. 'Cause I think there's 30 plus parks, so right around 30 in Chaska. There's a lot.
Replacement schedule.
Yep, so there's a replacement.
To add that east. Working with St. John's to add we're still doing that, right? Park at St. John's for the east side of Chaska. East side of downtown Chaska.
that's an interesting point though. Like when we just did this Oktoberfest and Julie and I worked on like, can we do it in the parking lot? Is that the right place? Then there's that whole idea of how do you communicate to people that the event's in a parking lot that doesn't have an address per se. But parks. I never thought about that. I mean, there's a cute little park on the, on the west side. And then if we do something over there, like these pop-up events where we just throw up a couple bounce houses for a couple hours at a park.
How does that benefit the businesses?
Well,
People down here.
yes.
Driving through downtown. They're not gonna spend the whole time like just at the park. They're gonna maybe, okay, now it's time to eat. What's close by? Shop.
So that's a great question though, Carrie. That's one of the things that we had better visibility when we did like this Oktoberfest pop-up in City Square Park, because you could see people come down, park, go to the event, and then walk out in. I don't know that we saw that in the parking lot. I mean, I saw people come in and go to Guardian Angels, people leave Guardian Angels and come to us. But that's where we need to, I think, fine tune our locations so that we are getting people down here and then out and walking. And which reminded me, I had a question about wayfinding signage, because I think that's part of this equation is, you mentioned Fireman's Park, like there's supposed to be.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
all that wayfinding signage, that's all the stuff that's finishing up right now, going out for production, and will be installed here in the next few months. Those heritage kiosks will have a map downtown in there and that sort of thing as well. So more wayfinding to come.
That's good. And you said, do you say install this year? Maybe.
I got a call that they're gonna start next week outside my bank.
So
Bradley Fassbender. from
that's awesome.
Stantec.
It's moving faster than I thought. That's good, right?
What's going outside?
It's a wayfinding, it's one of the, that's got
We have a
businesses.
Are all the lots gonna have a public parking sign? So that one would have one too?
I have to look at the map. and
But it
see
should?
who signed it.
Okay.
Right, that's,
Just to north of your drive up then? Where's the sign going?
On Chaska Boulevard,
Oh,
outside the window there.
That's exciting. I mean, we've been talking about wayfinding signage
Yeah,
for
yeah.
a decade.
Yeah.
And it's
almost here.
it's almost here.
So Jen, what about, would we be able to put anything up at the curling center also for when they have curling tournaments there? Let people
Great
know what's
idea.
going on downtown here.
So we typically bag stuff when they do curling events, but I mean, I think what we're doing is getting smarter with how we spend, and bag stuffers are a constant spend. So maybe there is something more permanent that we could think about doing.
Even like at the, you know,
Right.
ring.
Mhm,
And it
just
could
a
just be
QR
a
code.
sign, I mean, it could just be on a easel, it doesn't have to be a super permanent expensive thing. Since that draws people.
Yeah. I think this, the rink piece, like, opened up this whole new way to start thinking about how do we more permanently put information out there that brings people to us, and then we can serve them up anything on the website.
Anything else on planning and updates?
Oh, so let's talk about the rest of the year. So we have my dates because I'm not going to remember them. So 2 to 5 on 10/26 is Trick or Treat Downtown Chaska. The event went live, I think, a week and a half ago. Once we finalized everything with St. John's, obviously that's a big draw that brings a lot of those families down here, and then they push out into downtown. And then, of course, we bring people down. What we talked about a couple months ago is the fact that we don't have the Herald. The map used to go out in the Herald. So I'm finalizing the map, and we'll get that out on social media. I'll get it to you, I'll get it to Kevin, so we can all kind of push it out. And then one thing that I've held off on doing, and Facebook has opened up a lot of this. You didn't always have the ability to sign in as someone different and go into public groups and post things, but they've opened up a lot of that. So you might have seen it with the pop-up event, but Downtown Chaska went into all of our fun Real Life in Chaska and Chaska Underground groups and dropped the event in there. And I'll do the same thing with all of our events coming up, because we have to make up for not having the Herald, although we do have that website too. So I should probably send that to someone there. You guys have a contact? Is there just like a general?
For Eden Prairie local news?
Yeah, Carver County, the Carver County.
Sorry.
I was like, wait.
Yes.
Talk about ours.
Yeah, there's
It's an
Yeah,
info.
pass that around if you
Okay.
want.
Can I get some of this at the bank?
Same.
Yeah, Haley knows, like,
What are you calling me?
sorry, Kayla,
Michaela?
Haley.
Okay.
I had a third cup of coffee's on its way.
Yeah, we can.
She designed it.
Have people that miss the hair, I mean.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Sure.
If you can get me some, so all of the business stops on the trick or treat get a bag with the flyers to hand out too. I can include those in that bag.
It'd be
because
more
the-
That'd be awesome.
Michaela would be your source on that, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Or Haley.
Whatever, my name is.
Haley.
I think my goal is to get the businesses their maps by next week. And Michaela, we can either meet up or you can just drop them at my house. Okay, so 10/26.
You can,
And then Deer Weekend is 11/9. The focus, you might remember Deer Weekend was a really big deal last year because we opened up 41 and, there was music, there was food trucks. We're not going to that level. What we're doing is just advertising all of the events happening at the businesses and publishing a map with all of those specials so that we can get people again moving from business to business. But it didn't make sense. That's a tough weekend to try and do outdoor stuff. We got really lucky last year and it was like 50. We just don't know what could happen. So,
be 80, yeah.
yeah, or it could be snowing. So the focus will be just to get that information out, kind of like the trick or treat about what's happening down here so we can get people to move around.
Is it special district again this year?
I don't know. Julie and I have kicked around. So I think we probably need a bigger discussion on this. About like where we see the future of the social district going. and how we want to use it to engage people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say maybe let's have a discussion and
Yeah.
then bring it back. To
I think that makes sense.
really move this all together.
You're right. Hometown holidays, I mean, we should just make it a permanent social district.
I think
It's not it.
That's what we-
That's some of what we, I
Yes.
think we'd like to have maybe an offline conversation on how do we make it a permanent social district, because it's gotta go through the legislature. And so
Yeah.
there's some pushback at the legislature, so I think, how
Well-
to do that.
Well, it's been done already, right?
It's
So,
been done,
yeah.
and then they gave 2 more this year to Shakopee and
Mhm.
Stillwater. They're waiting for a report on the Anoka Social District to come out, which is coming out shortly. So I think there's more, but if that's something we're interested in pursuing, how to prepare ourselves.
yeah.
I mean, the good news is the couple times that we've done it, we've had really good feedback from the restaurants about people absolutely engaging in it and moving around downtown. And so at least we have some factual information about it being a good
Right.
process.
I think there's people like our police department, they have to fence and that thing too. So I want to make sure we
Absolutely.
have, you know, a larger conversation on all of it.
Mhm.
And then the last 2 events that we have, one is ours, one is yours. 12/7 hometown holidays, 2 to 5. We need to, I think, firm up location and how we're gonna do that. And that's probably an offline, kind of like Julie and I did with the last event. I kept everything the same for hometown holiday other than the location. So we're doing the carriage rides, we have music, we have Santa, and we have llamas. We just need to find the home for all that. Oh, and s'mores.
Thanks to
And-
the fire pits.
Yeah, we're gonna do the fire pits. So we probably need to be thoughtful about where we, yeah.
Right across from the Wells Fargo last year.
Yeah, and I have the carriages starting at the southeast corner of the park. So we moved them down. They used to start at I'm really bad with directions. Yeah, we just moved them down to the corner because our initial thought was that we would use the Paseo over there for hometown holiday. And I think we can fine tune some of that, but that will definitely be the starting point for the carriages. It's works your route and it also is easy for the carriages. So then the horses aren't going up the hills and all that.
If you, like, I don't know how big it is or if it's gonna work, but we have that parking lot like next to the post office. That's ours. It's just where our employees park, but it's a big space.
The only problem with that, with the carriage rides, is that, the owners of the carriage rides or who is leading the team has, pointed out to us that they do not want to take the horses with a load like that uphill.
Yes.
And that would be an uphill jaunt for them to do.
Right, if you set up in the parking lot, they go around.
Yeah.
What hill are you referring to?
Well, nobody realizes that actually downtown square is lower than the west side of Chaska. And believe me, it is because I have walked in the Memorial Day parades from down by St. John's all the way to Guardian Angels.
All the way uphill.
And it's uphill all the way. So there is, and that's what some of the drivers of the carriages have stressed that they do not want to take up. And especially with a larger wagon, how many people are you going to have on it? Besides pulling the wagon uphill. So.
By the historical society. I don't know.
No, they do not.
Figuring out the route is just kind of,
Yeah.
they go by my house, which is kind of fun for us. But
They stay over on the east side.
Right.
They start in the middle, they,
could go by the historical society. It looks so cool. But yeah, I get it.
Class 41.
yeah, not a good idea.
So
You're right, though.
one of the things that Steve and I have talked about is in this idea of kind of keeping hometown holiday, but mixing it up and growing it, is to try and do like a holiday market. So that's not something that we're gonna pull off this year. But that would be the hope maybe going into next year, is to start to grow this event in a little bit different direction where it becomes kind of a shopping thing. And I think there's a lot that happens. The Legion does something that day. The Girl Scouts are at the Moravian Church doing something like that. So we already have a little bit of that there.
Paseo activation project.
Yeah, so that's kind of the long-term vision. There was no way we were gonna pull that off this year. So
I bet the Arts Consortium would be very interested in that conversation. You know, they had to close their kind of retail shop in the community center, and so I think they're wanting to find some other opportunities to do some more like market kind of things and
That's a great
attach
idea.
to events, because I kind of told them, I said, let's attach you to some different events where there's generally people already there.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have to be mindful not to take away from the retailers that are already down here though, too. with
yes, I think
Usually it's nice that they participate. So if you guys wanna ever take a field trip, first weekend in Duluth, go up to their holiday market. Those are all local Duluth businesses that, no, I shouldn't say all, I think most are very much Duluth businesses, and they line kind of like a paseo. It's a small road, and they have all their businesses. They have these like little cabins. I'm not saying you have to go this hard because it is a big production, but they have little cabins and they open up shops, and it draws in a lot of people, even when it's really, really cold. So, but it's all local businesses that do that. And it might also create some continuity or some collaboration with the northern businesses too, to have some partnerships. So that's just an idea. But if you ever want to take a field trip, that's a good holiday market. The way they structure that and their strategy is very good.
You check out Santa Claus Lane at Minnesota Campfire too. They're doing kind of the same thing with all their cabins and their spaces. That'd be kind of cool to do something down the Paseos up and down. That'd be awesome.
So yeah, and something similar to, I can't remember exactly where it was. I feel like it was maybe in the Grand Marais area or something, but it were just all of these little huts, like cabin.
Yeah, that's just south of Grammar. It's just up from Duluth. I can't remember that town name, but they have the train.
Along with some water, it was beautiful.
Yeah,
Just-
and they
but
have a train.
They have different artists, the artists would have that space for like a month, and then they're done and another artist can kind of set up shop for a month, but it was a nice way to, give a lot of different people and art opportunities to sell different things. And having that enclosed space makes it a little bit more weather and stuff,
Yeah.
well, I know we've talked in the future with City Square West about that kind of activation in the plaza there.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, we could try using the Paseos for that kind of, just to test out the theory. One more thing, we need to talk about the giveaways. So obviously Hometown Holiday is 12/7 because Thanksgiving is later this year. So that pushes everything back a week. But what we do between Small Business Saturday and Hometown Holiday is another mailer. I'm gonna keep calling it a mailer, even though it's not going out in the mail. This has the coloring contest on it, and then all of the business specials for Small Business Saturday through Hometown Holiday. As part of that, in the past, we didn't last year, we have given the businesses stuff to give away for people coming in. We talked about this earlier. I asked them for some feedback in addition to the ornament. The ornament was a definite yes, but they suggested bags, which we have done in the past as well. And then I picked up the sticker idea because they are cheap and we can get a lot of them. And I like that because then there's a lot for the businesses to have. And it would be a downtown Chaska sticker with our website on it. So again, driving traffic. So to give you an idea of cost, because everything has gone up in price, I about fell over when she sent me this. I think what I'd look at is 1,000 bags. You might remember these bags. They're the navy ones with our logo and our website on them. They are $2.60 a piece. So that would be roughly a spend, I'm not going to put tax on that, of $2,600. The stickers, we could do 1,000, probably do more than 1,000. I got to do math again. Hold on. We did 2,000 stickers. Ooh, 2,000 stickers is only $500. See, bang for your buck. And then the ornament, let me share my screen. Why am I not
Yeah, I
sharing
was
my
gonna say,
screen?
I'm sure.
Tommy. Sometimes. Okay, let me get this out of the way. So I can see. All right, let me go back up. That's the bag with that logo on it. She sent me the larger ones. We have done larger bags before, but I don't think that makes sense for these couple events. Stickers, we just do a simple round sticker with the Downtown Chaska logo and our website on it. And then this is where we need some decisions on ornament styles. So I think because we haven't done ornaments in a year, I would probably just do our Downtown Chaska logo to kind of re-kick it off. So we could do something like this. Let me see if I can, how did I zoom in before?
Does it have a year on it or is it generic?
So, I have not done the year on them in the past.
Probably not a good idea.
I was gonna say, I think that's
Yeah.
better.
Let me see if I can make this bigger.
Michaela, you love downtown Chaska. What do you think about the ornament?
Oh,
You're the queen of downtown Chaska, about the ornament.
I love ornaments.
Okay.
Do you love them?
I love ornaments. I have all the old
So-
ones.
This is
Stored them
option.
in my mom's house.
I'll go back. That one is $3.30 a piece. This one is cute,
Oh, that's nice.
and that is also $3.30 a piece. And then there's a snowman,
Cute. That's a,
and he is a little bit more, $3.60. And then Christmas ball, and that is $4. Snowman, $3.60. And I didn't like this one.
I like the snowman.
I heard a couple
first one.
snowmans.
I like the snowman.
Yeah, the first one, I think.
The first one.
Yeah,
first
that
one?
one's cuter.
guys, this logo really.
Yes, this definitely has our coloring to it.
Yeah.
And that is, so if we did 500,
$4 is $2,000.
look at Dan in the math. Yep, $2,000.
Notice the bankers piping up? Not yet.
So, what was the bags was 2,600. There are some setup fees and obviously taxes as well, but if we did those quantities, we're at what, like
$7,000, lower 7, with the stickers and the.
stickers are
bags.
500, 2,600 and how much? And 2,000, so,
Or $2,000. Yeah.
51.
so about 5,000
5,000.
would be the spend, roughly. It's open to all businesses, so any service, retail, restaurant, anyone has the opportunity to request the quantity and we just drop it off and it's theirs to then distribute. And then they go on the marketing as a place that they can get this information or get the giveaways.
Are you selling the ornaments
I
or?
was just gonna ask that.
Nope, it's kind of a gift with purchase.
Okay.
That's how we frame it up. Is that, if someone comes into a business,
Buy
makes a
something.
purchase there, then they have an opportunity to get a free gift with purchase.
Could you charge if somebody just wanted to buy the ornament though? Because we at the bank, obviously, we can't sell we don't have anything for them to buy to get with purchase.
Yep.
Yeah.
Open a CD.
Yeah.
Open up a CD.
Welcome, like we'll collect for like food shelves
Yeah.
or stuff like that. We could put up.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a good idea.
You know, it's your choice if you want to donate, but.
I like it, I just.
Are we good with the
I'm in favor.
quantities?
Can't tell because this is so heavy.
The snowman's an excellent.
You can't tell it's gone.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 You can tell it's a real one.
All right.
All right.
Later.
Should move along, so.
Yes.
I actually had a couple of things that wanted to touch on real quick. So anything
No
else?
wonder you were like, stop talking, Jen.
Um. One, I think we passed around the Carver County local news little flyer there, just so people know that is live. It's very early stage. There's
Tour guide is on there.
the voter guide is on there, so cclocalnews.org, check it out.
Geography section.
No.
There's not,
Depends on how much money he raises for it.
There is also a PDF version of the voter's guide as well, so you can always.
You can print it.
You can print it.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So that's moving forward. Just a quick note on the 100 Club, we're buying new interactive displays this year. We're gonna have more critical mass in Fireman's Park than we've ever had before, and it's gonna be terrific. So we're excited about that.
What is the cost for that ticket?
It's $150. Yeah, yeah. And the Bolton and Mank is putting together a promotional video about the Highway 4161 project. And that will be a great PR piece for us and for the city, I think. So just FYI about that. One of the things that came up in the city council meeting was the move of River City Days to Lions Park. I think for the River Cities Days Festival, that's a home run. For the downtown, it's not. And there were the comments that were made at the, at the meeting that's too bad we can't still do that. And that's kind of where we left that. I guess my challenge to our organization would be to, figure out, is there a way to leverage that all these people are close and we got stuff going on down here, and not to compete with them, I think, but to take advantage of the fact that there's people around. Again, maybe people start here and move there.
Like bus people in, so like,
Yeah.
maybe there could be stops, like multiple
Stops, or maybe there's something at the bus pickup spot that's something,
Yeah.
a bounce house or
Kiosk
whatever.
or
I mean,
something, yeah.
so it's something to think about. We don't need to do anything right now, but I think okay, there's 2,000 people coming next to downtown. What do we do to get them in downtown before or after or whatever? So I thought it came up at the city council meeting from two different presenters, and I thought, well, okay, there's something there. Other thing, briefly, we had talked a little bit about another thing that came up at that city council, well, really after, in talking with the business owners, was the issue of homeless people, drug use on Second Street specifically, but downtown generally. That's an area I think we want to re-engage in with the city. And
Yeah, Steve and I were talking a little bit before the meeting. I will talk to the police department and see if they can come to our next meeting and have an agenda item, with just.
that would be
police department
fantastic.
if we're
Yeah,
good, and
yeah.
have them give an update on what they're seeing.
And what we can do.
What you can do.
What can we do? So.
Yeah,
Julie
maybe
did
Mark,
that.
we had at one point talked.
Julie did that a while ago, yeah.
Did the.
I talked to Martine yesterday and invited him. His problem is Friday's usually his day off. I said, when the meeting, but he was gonna actually, yesterday after I talked to him, talk to Ryan and try to get some representation here. They obviously didn't swing it for today.
Cause there was the, neighborhood watch. We talked about a business, you guys talked about a business watch at one point. So.
Yeah, I'll follow up with the chief cyber and see if we can get our team here to talk with the group or.
It'd be great to have somebody from the police department here every week, just to kind of
Yeah.
talk about what's going on in
Yeah, yeah,
downtown
and
Chaska,
actually-
what they're seeing. Not every week, but every meeting.
Yeah, we said our we came in. Apparently our alarms go off every day. Nobody notified.
Yeah, nobody.
I'm also lucky to
I
get
was
notified.
getting a call every day, and I had told them, I'm like, unless there's like more than 3 alarms, it's always one, it's always in the same spot.
Yeah.
And it's fine.
Put it on the ghost tour.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Sounds.
All right, well, I gotta run. I've got a hard
Okay.
stop at night.
Thanks,
Thank
Karen.
you. We
Thanks for
covered a
bringing
lot of
that
ground
stuff up.
today, so, yeah.
It's hard to see because I can't get it to blow up anymore, but this is
Oh, yeah.
one of the things that the 100 Club bought. So both of the things that we're adding are interactive, so people can sit on them. So it's 6.5 by 6.5 feet. It's large.
Yeah.
And it can go right by the tree. which is perfect. And then we have a little deer family that you can take pictures with.
We talked to a photographer about doing some photos,
What?
just doing photos if people sitting in there, or is it just gonna let everybody do their own?
Oh, I see what you're saying, at that event.
Yeah.
We usually take photos at the tree lighting. We've got a couple people on our team who are pretty good with their cameras, but you're talking about the hometown holiday, yeah.
And maybe not for this year, but what we used to do at the bank a long time ago, we haven't done it for years, but we would have someone take pictures, just cheap, that would print off,
Yeah.
like these cheap ornaments that you put the picture right in.
Oh.
People love face.
Yeah, you put your face.
We don't do it anymore because there was a
So the goal is
issue
to
with
buy
Stan.
a couple
Santa's
every
great guy,
year
you
or
can
so
still
and
take
make a
Santa,
little,
but
you know, turn Fireman's Park into more of a destination.
more insurance and things in case something happens.
I'm stealing that idea.
I know, right?
It's more.
It was a weird
Well, last one was-
property. I'm like, what? It's Bob.
Yeah.
So
We'll see, my hands are like freezing and I'm trying to, and then
Look at us, we don't have storage.
these little fellas, you stick your little.
Actually,
Picture they
Downtown
are
Chaska
inside.
still has
So
a snowman
the
and
goal
a
is to kind of build out.
snowman and a Santa in my garage.
Are you serious?
Bunch of.
Yes.
Storage was never really, I don't think, built into any of our.
There's so many empty buildings.
Oh, well, I mean,
How this might impact,
Not
might not.
Maybe.
I've looked at it. I was talking for a 10-year lease.
We have not really talked about the weddings and events that happen
So true.
with all of the best we built.
We're Carl Sanderson, where we are, we're in Chanhassen right now. But
It might look.
You hear the question?
look at the Hazeltine building, they want
It's the
20
same.
Put down.
24. I know.
I'm just picturing, maybe the brides would love to just put a
I-
little pen in there.
Right.
I would think.
If they're going
Yeah, we're.
Maybe they're all about.
That was, yeah, $500
Yes.
the other day.
We do need to map the park.
We need to match it for.
And
with
maybe,
that money.
maybe pull in, I'll talk to Devin.
Yes.
And don't forget, you guys have a snowman and a Santa Claus in my garage that say downtown Chaska. I haven't been in that garage in like a year because it scares me, but I can make.
popped out of the front yard.
What if I did?
Yeah.
No, when you open the garage door, you just have Santa staring at you. Jen, do you remember that you have those in my garage?
Santa and a snowman from City Square.
We have to put those over there now. Yeah. We should get them out of your garage. You're in my garage. It's just like the downtown Chaska storage. I'm glad these things are not going in my garage.
Well, I was just gonna say that, where are you? The city stores.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
I
So would
store
they
Santa and the snowman.
accommodate- Bill, do you suppose they would accommodate the two items you have in your garage also?